In the previous episode, we finally tapped into our dye reserves that we use to build this color block factory over here, where we can produce any of the dyed terracotta and stained glass on demand. And even though we produce a lot of blocks, we do require a lot of redstone, and we're going to address that shortage by building a redstone factory in today's episode. But before we just start producing redstone, we need to understand how it's made and all the farms we're going to need to automate this process. And I think to do that, we should head over to the creative world. So redstone is one of 3 potion crafting recipes. And what I mean by that is in Create, you can apply 1 or 3 potions to cinder flour to get a certain item. So in this case, if we have cinder flour and we use potion of strength on it, we get redstone. And if we do night vision, we get glowstone. And if we do potion of harming, we get gunpowder. So for this exercise, we're going to be focusing on the redstone part of it. So now we automatically know we need to make cinder flour and we need to make a strength potion. So that's already one farm is combining those 2 items together. Then on this side, we need to look into cinder flour production, and for cinder flour we need netherrack. So for netherrack, we need to look at how we're going to produce that, and there are 3 different ways. We can crush magma blocks that we can also produce, or we can mix nether wart and andesite that will give us netherrack as well, or you can use a potion of healing on cobble and that will also give you netherrack. So those are 3 production methods. But for this episode, we're not going to be producing netherrack. That might be a future factory, but instead we're going to look at just mining it. So we get a lot of netherrack from mining for ancient debris and stuff like that. So I'm going to just go with this method over here. And then once we have the netherrack, that goes through a crushing wheel system, which is a second farm. So we've got 2 farms already. Then for the potion brewing part, to brew the potion, we're going to need, first of all, nether wart. So nether wart on its own is going to be a farm. And then we're going to need blaze rods to make blaze powder. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to have water and nether wart mixed together to get awkward potion. And then from awkward potion, we're going to add the blaze powder, and that will give us potion of strength. So in theory, we're going to have to create about 7 farms/contraptions for us to at least semi-automate redstone production. And with that said, I think it's time for us to jump back into the survival world and get started on this factory. So like with every good factory, we need a platform, and I had a look around and I think I found the ideal place. And the area I want to build the factory in is this area over here and also this area down here. So I already created a little platform in the creative world and I created a schematic. So let's quickly place it and see what it looks like. So if we place it down, whoop, you will see it's absolutely massive. And we just now need to move this. We have to get it into exactly the correct spot. And I think the easiest way will maybe be to line up those. So I think this needs to come back one. Yes. And then it needs to go over one because I'm using that little granite pillar over there as reference. So it's in line already. It just needs to get pushed one that way. There we go. So the platform's in place now. And as you can see, we've got little roads connecting on over this side. We'll have a big platform on this area. We'll have another one on this area. And we'll have a big nether wart farm over there. So this might be one of the biggest platforms we added to this area as of yet, and I am really excited. But before we can start building, we need to do a lot of resource gathering. So I'm going to grab the resources, plonk them down in chests as you sit back and enjoy a little montage. The platform's in and it's absolutely massive. But let me quickly show you guys around. So I did mark out where I think everything should go. So over here, I'm thinking the blaze farm where we're going to have blaze spawners in that we will be stealing from the original mob farm. So blaze farm in this area, and in this front little part, we can do like the crushing system where we turn the blaze rods into blaze powder. And then on this side, I think this is where we need to do cinder flour crushing. So we'll have a cinder flour over here. And for now, it's just going to be a manual input, I think. Over here, we'll have the potion brewing and the redstone crafting area. So we'll brew potions this area, and we'll turn the cinder dust into redstone dust in this area. And then down here, we've got our nether wart farm, which I planted a bit. This is all the nether wart I had. Well, I farmed it quite a few times and I planted it. Now we just need to get this whole thing filled up. So with that grand tour done, I think the first farm we're going to build is actually the one that's going to harvest and plant the nether wart, because we need a lot more than what we currently have. So let me grab the resources and let's get started on these create contraptions. So we've got all the resources gathered, but the first thing I want to do is I'm just going to take my fortune pickaxe and I'm just going to rip all of this up, and this will ensure that we get a little bit more yield from this harvest because of the fortune. And for the time being, we're just going to store it all in there. So we've got 551. That's quite a lot already. And now we can start building this contraption. I'm going to rip this block out as well, just so we've got a little hole to go through. And I'm going to make a hole right above the storage drawer, just so we can see where it is, right over there. Perfect. So now that we've got those two holes, the first thing we're going to do is over here, we're going to put down a mechanical bearing, and that's what's going to make the contraption rotate and harvest. Next up, we're going to install just a single line of andesite casing all the way to here. We need to do one over here, but for now, we're first just going to do this like so. We're going to jump down. We're going to put our portable interface on that block over there, and then we're going to do our andesite casing. So the portable interface can go through it, so that's not a problem at all. Next up, we're going to install our 3 volts. That's just what's going to be capturing the items or gathering the items as it harvests, and then when it reaches this point, deposits it. And then on this, we're just going to do our mechanical harvesters. And that is basically it for the farm. This is literally all we need. The last thing we need to do is just glue it all together. And that is also a very simple job. We're just going to go click there, all the way to here. And we're just going to connect those to there. And that's it. That's it for this entire contraption. The harvester set. And all we need to do now is jump down there and give it some power. So if we jump down here, I already brought some power over, and we just tapped into the whole dye factory because we haven't been using a lot on that line, so that should be fine. And we're just going to come over here and we're just going to create a little temporary block. Is that in line? Yes, that is. And what we're going to do is on this temporary block, we're going to have our rotational speed controller. We can hook this up, we can put in a gear. From here we'll connect all the way over, and we'll notice we're in the wrong position, so let's just move all of this up by one. Okay, now we're in the right position. So over here I'm going to first put down a clutch controller, and then just another vertical gearbox, and the whole thing should be going, and it seems to be rotating the right way. So now that it's built and it's working, I'm going to jump down, grab all the nether wart, and get this area planted up. Well, that didn't take long at all, and we've got a fully planted nether wart crop circle, and I'm really excited to see how this thing performs over time. But I think it's time for us to do the next few bits, and the first one I'm going to do is the netherrack crushing pod, so we can create some cinder flour while we build other pods. We have done a crushing wheel system and we have shown how it works, so I think I'm just going to build this one off camera, and I'll bring you guys back and just run through it once it's in place. So we've got the system up and running, and it's a very simple system. We've got a vault on top with some smart chutes at the bottom, which also contain redstone links to turn this contraption off, well, at least turn off the chutes. And then those items just get dispensed into the crushing wheels, and the crushing wheels will crush them and send them over to this drawer, which will contain the cinder flour. And this drawer, like all the other drawers in this area, if we jump down here, we can see is connected to a bigger picture. So we've got that, and now we've got nether wart going, we've got cinder flour going, but you'll also notice it's all locked. That's just because I had to test this. So if we click it, we're going to say as soon as it reaches 85%, it can turn off, and it should only turn on again once it is 15% of capacity. So see, now automatically it changed. All of those opened up, and these apparently opened up as well. That might irritate me, but okay, let's quickly test it. We've got this, so we've got about 15,000 netherrack. So if I just plonk it down over here, that's all going to be our temporary little manual input. It's going to slowly take items, it's going to put them through the crushing wheels, and this number is automatically climbing. So it's already started climbing up, which is fine. Come on. Yeah, there we go, quite a few. So this can also run in the background. Like I said, manual for now. We will look into a netherrack farm at a later stage. But I think the next thing we need to do now is tackle this area over here, which will then be a blaze farm on this side, and on this side it will be... That's a mistake. Okay, I'll have to look into that. blaze farm over there, and on this side we'll do our little crushing system that will turn the blaze rods into blaze powder. So I sorted this little problem by just adding another chute right over there. That will ensure that it doesn't dispense another one, not until the one that's inside's already been crushed. We also sped up the wheels a bit, and while I fixed that little problem, we've already crushed 23,000 cinder flour. So that means this is empty, and we've got about 900 pieces of netherrack, 7 pieces of netherrack left in the vault. So we're going to have to go do some netherrack mining again, but we'll do that a bit later. But like I mentioned, we need to work on a blaze farm. So I'm going to dig out this little area because I'm going to try a different type of setup, and I'm going to dig it out. I'm going to prepare an area, and I'll bring you guys back once all of that's done. So the hole's dug out, and the first thing we want to do is we're going to come down 4 blocks from there. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm just going to add a floor like this all the way to the edge. And this does not have to be tinted glass, it's just what I had in my inventory and I thought I was going to use it, so we're just going to fill that. And then over here we're going to do a belt that will just turn, and we're going to take it past like so, and we're just going to link it up. Let's just do a temporary little hole. So what's going to happen is blazes are going to fall over here, they're going to get moved this way, and we're going to do that using water because that way they get damaged as well. And then when they land on this belt, they will get transported to here, where we'll rip this out, and they'll actually go into this little corner over here. So it takes them a little bit longer, or they can't escape back that way. And we might actually do that too deep, so they'll be stuck in here. We're going to kill him with a deployer, so we're going to shift crouch and put the deployer right over here, because a deployer can punch through glass. So we're going to have some tinted glass in this area. We're going to change this over to this little one. That's just because we wanted to take a sword and punch, and we could just add more tinted glass right over there, and we can just fill those in with blocks, so that should be fine. So we've got an iron sword. We're going to make this filter iron sword, put a chute on top of that, add a barrel on top of that, and in that barrel we're just going to chuck a sword. So now the swords should all just filter into this contraption right over here. We've got ourselves a little filter, and in this filter we're going to say deny swords, and then again we're just going to put the draw controller here, a smart chute there, and then the filter that says deny swords. So now this should only extract blaze rods and not the swords itself. And now that controller we just need to hook up to this system over here, but for now we're just gonna leave it as is because we first want to do the parts above. So right over here we're gonna rip out this shaft over here, when we're going to add a speed control in here, and that should all still turn the same direction, which is perfect. Then we can add our cog over here, and from here we can run our shafts all the way to where we need them to go. So we're going to have one over here, we're going to go down there, and then right in line with this we're going to do another gearbox. We just need to make sure it's vertical. So now we can connect up our sword, which is perfect. We can see that's extending, but then also we need to go down over here like this. Okay, and now the belt's connected, but it's going the wrong way, so we can just rip out this one and just add another gearbox over there, and now the belt's going the right way. The last thing I want to do is just connect those up with some of the andesite casing, cover them up, and now all of this should work. We have this running, we've got that going, so that's perfect. So I think the next thing we need to do is just speed up this controller, get the water in, and then I'll bring you guys back. So before we can continue, I came back to the original mob spawner or the mob farm where we've been gathering our XP and our bones and stuff, and I already went ahead and grabbed the blaze spawners that were in there, so we're not going to get any more blazes. And the next thing I want to do is just pick up this little contraption. But before we do that, I'm just going to put a block of dirt there because I'm just scared we break this little drawer over here and it goes flying somewhere, and then that we can pick up as well. And now we can just fill this up because we're not going to need blaze over here anymore because we're going to have it over in the industrial area. So that can go. And now with the draw in hand and the 2 blaze spawners, we're ready to go back and start the farm on that side. Okay, so back here at the blaze farm, I'm going to put a drawer over here, and what's going to happen is in this drawer we're going to collect our blaze powder. So let's put our blaze powder in there, and on top of that we'll do a chute. We'll go up with blocks over there. We'll add our little crushing wheels that will be crushing the stuff. We'll do another chute on top of that, same as what we did there, just to control it. Add ourselves a smart chute, and the smart chute will have a filter on it for blaze rods. And then as soon as we can, we'll just change that to only dispatch 16 blaze rods at a time as well. So that is that for that contraption. We are, however, going to have to say that this needs to be connected to a drawer slave because it needs to extract those items. And then we're also going to rip out this little one over here and this little one over there. And this is just where we're going to run our drawer controllers from. And I think the best way we can do this is maybe just that one's connected already, and then this one should run something like this. And now this is connected. So what will happen now is we will actually take items from here. They will get collected and put into the system. We'll only extract the blaze rods. This is where the blaze powder will come. And I think we should maybe change this up so we have blaze rods also somewhere in here. Let me think about this a bit more and sleep through a night, and we'll be right back. So I modified it a little bit. I changed it around so the drawer trim goes around the back, and we brought the power up into the system again. We've got the crushing wheels running, and we've got a little threshold switch on the side here that's currently just locking the chute up there. So basically what will happen is as soon as I change this, all of this will start running, and we've got about 5,658 blaze rods saved up from the mob farm back at spawn or back at base, and that should be fine for now because I think we should first build the building that goes over all of this before we put in the blaze spawners. Call me a bit paranoid, but I do not want blazes to fly around here, shooting at me the whole time and stuff like that. So we're going to leave that part for last. What we are, however, going to do is we're going to change this up to say, listen, you're going to only switch off when this reaches 85, and you'll only turn on again when it is lower than 15. So we're going to click that, and that automatically now should work. We can change that around to exactly 16 like we mentioned, and this will slowly then that's it, start producing blaze powder, and it's producing quite a lot. So I would call that a success. I am really happy about that. Did that already fill up? Oh, we don't have an upgrade on there. Just chuck an emerald upgrade on there. That should turn off, and there we go again. Okay, perfect. Now we have the cinder flower farm. We've got the blaze rods making blaze powder, and we've got the nether wart going quite strong. I think it's time we tackle this area up here and we start to bring everything together. So by that I mean we're going to tackle the potion brewing part of it, and after that we'll tackle the redstone part of it. So potion brewing. So we're going to have to brew potion of strength in the end, which we're going to send over to that side's building to create ourselves some redstone. So how I'm going to do is we're going to have to say we're going to transfer this potion all the way over here to this side. So that's where we have to end up. Now to create strength potion, we're first going to have to get ourselves some water. So we're going to have water over here, and then the water will be sent over to this side where we'll brew it into awkward potion. We'll have an awkward potion reservoir over here, and then from here we'll send it over again. So we'll have 2 tanks of awkward potion. From the awkward potion we'll mix in blaze powder, which will give us strength potion, and from strength potion we're going to go over this side like mentioned, and we're going to have ourselves some redstone making contraptions. So that is it for the tanks. So that's the position, and now we just need to build everything in between. So I'm going to take these up 5, so it's 2, 3, 4, 5. So now for the crafting part. So if this tank is our water tank, we're going to come back to the back side. We're going to add exactly 1 pump over here because that's going to pull water out, and from there we're going to go into a pipe which will then go into a basin, and from the basin we're going to do the smart fluid pipe. The reason for this is because we can apply a filter to that, and then on that we'll just stick another pump. So now this will pull water, put it in there, and send the finished product over there. And then we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So these are 2 stations. So the first one will make awkward potion, the second one will make all the strength potion. So because we don't have a lot of space, I'm going to use a mechanical arm to feed the blazes. So we're going to just put a blaze right over here and a blaze burner right over there, and then we'll actually dig a hole underneath those like that and like that for the mechanical arm to put the fuel into these blaze burners. So we know each of these requires specific items. So what we're going to do is we're going to rip a hole right over there. We're just going to add an acacia trim because I think it just suits the whole look of the tanks a lot better. And we add our compacting drawers on top of those. On the water side, we'll slap a funnel on. We'll add netherwort. Once we added the belt, we're going to just change that to only dispatch one item at a time. I don't think it makes a lot of a difference, but that's just what I want to do. And on the side of the strength potion, we're going to do exactly the same, but this time we're going to add blaze powder. And then on the back of each basin, we're just going to add a little andesite funnel pointing into it. And now we can connect this up by adding some belts running all the way from the brass funnel to the andesite funnel. And now that we have a belt, you can see we can make it exactly one. And just to make sure things don't go flying off at the end, we can just do something like that, so that will just block the items, which makes it look a lot better. And now we're going to repeat that exact process on this side. We're also making use of the create encased mod, and what that does, it gives us different type of things we can craft, like this copper mixer. So if we go into inventory, we'll see if you push shift, it tells us it mixes twice as fast if the recipe either only uses fluids or if it's a potion recipe, but it uses more stress. And just because of that, we're going to actually use these in this whole setup. So on top of our basins, we're just going to place our little mixers on either side. We still need to put in the filters and everything, but that's the next step. So now that we have all of this, I've got some things over here. So over here, we're going to say recipe, awkward potion, extract awkward potion. And on this side, we're going to say recipe strength potion, extract strength potion only. So what that will do is that'll make sure we only extract awkward potion and not water, and the same on this side. So that's mainly it for the top side, and I think we should go down to the bottom real quickly to install the belts for the mechanical arm that will give us fuel for the blaze burners. Then with some temporary blocks, we're just going to come down over here like so. We're going to put on the shaft right there and another one right over there. We're going to connect it with a belt, and it's starts one before that slope, and we're just going to take it past so it actually stops one after that slope. We can now rip out these temporary little blocks, add a little temporary block on this side, do a draw slave on either of these, and on the one we'll put an andesite funnel, on the other one a brass funnel, and then on the brass funnel we'll put charcoal, and we're just going to change that to exactly one. So what's going to happen is we have way too much black dye and we have a lot of charcoal over there coming in. So what we're going to do is we're going to link up that system, and we're going to take the charcoal from over there, bring it over here, and let them pass through one by one, where the mechanical arm will pick them up and feed them to the blaze burner. So let me quickly link up the drawers over here and get everything sorted, and I'll bring you guys back. Okay, so we got all the drawers linked up, we've got these linked up, we've got those two linked up there, and now what we can do is we can take the mechanical arm and we can tell it, okay, well, you're going to take from there, you're going to give to there, and we're going to put it down there. And this one we're going to say, you know what, you take from there, you give to there, and put it down over there. So now we've got the two mechanical arms ready, and they just need to be powered. And if we head on to the top over here, we'll see that everything over here is also done. So now the only thing left for us to do is actually just get some water pumped into that tank over there, which I'll do right now, and then just link up the power. So we've got everything connected up, we've got power, we've got the blaze burners burning at the moment, and everything should be ready to go. The only thing is those belts are still going the wrong direction, but that's okay because this is still too slow, and we actually just need to come down here and just invert this up that way, and let's make it only 128 for now. Let's see how that goes. So now things are flowing in, we've got items waiting to be mixed with the respected fluids. So the last thing we need to do is get water into here, and as soon as we have water into this system, everything should be a go. We need some power over there, but yeah, everything's fine. We just need to hook up this little pump over here. So I'm going to get some water, and the way we're going to do that is we're just going to go underneath this, create a little infinite water source, and just pump water directly into this from the bottom. So I'm going to get that, and there we have everything connected. We've got potion being brewed, so we have water coming in, we've got awkward potion being made. It's emptying out quite fast, but that's because we need to fill the strength tank. So both these two constantly, you see the fluid and then they disappear. That's because we're brewing all the strength potion on this side, and we already have 34 buckets, which is great. So now the next step is to take all of this potion from over here, send it to that side, and then create some redstone. And I think I have an idea where I'm going to do it. I might just do it all on this side, then we can have like a little window over here looking out over that, or I'll just do it all on this side. I'm not sure. So I'm going to grab the stuff I'm going to need to build this, and we're going to get building. Okay, I had a little think, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to rip this out. Because this building is quite narrow, I'm going to just conceal these drawers in the wall. So this is basically the exterior wall, but we'll just do a little bit of a cover up over there, and exactly the same on the other side. So we'll do that like this, and we're going to repeat it on the side. So basically we're going to have 4 production lines when it comes to making redstone, and then on top of those we're going to have our drawer controller slaves, and that's where we're going to extract from. We're then going to have a double lane of belts on either side. Just connect the belts, and then on the one side we're going to have our items getting pulled out, so we're going to add belts on that side. And I'm choosing to pull from this side and to go to this side, because I think this area in the middle is where I'm going to have like boxes and stuff packed, and we'll have a little box over here with all the redstone. The input, we don't need any funnels or anything, so we'll just add those over there. These ones over here, we're going to add cinder flour as our filter, and we're just going to make that exactly 1 for all of them, and that should basically be it for that system. So we've got something pulling it out, we've got something picking it up, and now we just need to add a drawer for redstone. So I think right over here is where we're going to do the drawer, and we're just going to add redstone to that, and we're going to make sure that we lock it. So now that is that part done. Now we just need to add the spouts, and the spouts we're just going to place down in the center like so. Should be perfect. Okay, so the spouts have been placed, and I just connected them to these tanks. So I added 2 tanks on either side that will serve as additional reservoirs, because this one's already filled up, and so is the awkward potion. So if we can continue brewing some more strength potion and we fill those up, then that would be perfect. So the only thing I need to do now is connect this pump to a power source, and then power all of these items, and then in theory everything should be working. These trims aren't connected to the big storage yet, but I first want to make sure all the belts are turning the right way before I even attempt that. Okay, so everything's powered. We can see we've got strength potion, everything. The belts are all going the right way. We only have 1 redstone in here. That's the one we use to set the filter. We've got those set up correctly. So in theory, if we place this trim right over there, things should happen, and we have redstone being made. Oh, this is going to be such a game changer. It's not going to be very fast, but this I can promise you is fast enough for me as well. So I am pretty happy. We've got redstone production automated, and it's been quite an adventure getting everything done. But now we have a lot of other things that need to happen, and that's mainly making all of this look real good and installing the actual blaze farm. So I think what we need to do is gather up the resources, get some builds planned, and you guys can just sit back and enjoy a little build montage. We're done. We finally finished this project, and it was a mega project, and I just love the area. I love how it all came together. I added the bushes, I added the dead bushes, and like mentioned, there will always be green in my builds, so I'm liking that. For the crushing area, I added these little piles of netherrack, and just where they've been spilled and so forth, with a bunch of barrels and stuff all over. And over here we've got like a little skip as well with some more of the netherrack in it. And a blaze farm, I added the blazes, and it's working. There they go. They all get slaughtered. We get some blaze rods, but most of all we get some blaze powder. I might switch this down a bit more, as we really do not need this much, so we can actually bring this down way more. But also we're getting some nice XP nuggets, so this is really working well. If we come on over here on this side, I just added a bunch more barrels and stuff, and over here I did a little frame door, so if we need to come to the inside of the farm for any reason, it is easy accessible through this, but also all throughout my builds I've got like cracked bricks, and usually where the cracked brick texture is, there's a trapdoor as well. But if we head on up here, this building, I decided to copy again the build we have down there and mix the styles and change it up a bit. So I've got this build over here, and if you enter, we've got the brewing stands and the brewing stations, and these are filled to the brim, and also these two are filled, and they're filled because we ran out of cinderflower and we've got 24,000 redstone. 24,000. I think we're sorted for a bit. But again, this build in has like a little break in the roof, and we have the same little structure on this side. And if we come out the back, we've got the nether wart farm, which is fantastic. I just want to have a look at it from this side. So that's what I meant to break. So that building is a bit narrow, and I don't know, it doesn't bother me that much, but I do like this little detail of the two builds being connected with this almost concrete-like roof. And then again, we did that little engine on the side, the generator, and just some details on the walls. But I do have to admit, I think I love this build more than any of the other builds. No, I like that one. I don't know. I can't pick. I love all the builds. But anyway, let me know down in a comment, which one of these do you like the most? What do you think of these builds? Do you like them? Let me know in the comments down below. We're back here at the main base, and it's time for that part of the video where we just say thank you for those people that are part of the community. These people are not just in the comments, they're sometimes on the Discord, they give suggestions, and they're always around to offer up advice. And this week we say thank you to Benito Swagaloni, Darth Yet Gone, GigaChad, Ajax, Senatank, and BB House Rodin. Thank you all for the comments, the support, and the suggestions. And if I get stuck, some of you always help me out with some advice. I do appreciate it. And if you want your name in the tunnel, then just be part of the community. And if you want to come hang out on the Discord, link in the description. But sadly, that will be the end of this episode. I really hope you enjoyed it, and let me know what you think of the builds, and did you enjoy this episode? I really appreciate it. And if you want your name in the supporter tunnel, then remember, like, subscribe, and just interact, be part of the community. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.